So welcome everyone to our Wild Ones Chesapeake Bay March Garden Chat. We're glad you're here with us tonight. With this garden chat, we're starting a little bit different format. We realized that when we were having official presentations followed by our chapter updates and national updates and open discussion, we were running fairly long. So we're going to try to take our special presentations outside of the garden chat and schedule those anytime throughout the month where it's convenient for our guest speakers. So tonight we're just basically going to go through our chapter garden updates, the national updates, and then we've got open discussion with a few key topics. So with that, I think we'll advance and get started on the first topic, which is our chapter updates. And many of our chapter updates were created tonight by members who are leading some of our projects. This is a photo from a couple of from one of our workshops at the College of Southern Maryland. Most recently, our winter sewing workshop. We were invited by Maddie Baba, who's the librarian assistant there. And if you'll advance, Bill. Maddie has been instrumental in opening a seed library at the College of Southern Maryland. They have free seeds, fruits, vegetables, herbs, flowers, and native plants. It's located on the main campus in the library on Mitchell Road. It's not only open to the CSM faculty, staff, and students, but they're opening it to the general public, which we think is wonderful. She was excited to report that they saw 35 patrons and gave out 150 seed packets their first week. They're open to donations of seeds. So if you have seeds you'd like to drop off, you can contact Maddie. And they've actually got a website set up for their seed library with lots of useful information. And tonight, as we go through, one of our chapter leaders will be putting links in the chat that correspond to the QR codes. So if it's difficult to scan a QR code during the presentation, but you're interested in some of the information, we'll be putting links in the chat too. Next, if somebody wouldn't mind putting that link in for the seed library site, that would be great. And next slide. And then Maddie was instrumental in inviting us and organizing 2 workshops since our last meeting. We held a seed saving workshop on Valentine's Day, and then a winter sewing workshop on March 7th. I gave presentations at both to the faculty, staff, students, and some Wild Ones members who attended. For the seed saving, we cleaned seeds that were collected in the fall during one of their pollinator garden cleanup days. And then we used those seeds for the winter sowing event in March. And they were well attended, and we received lots of nice reviews from those 2 workshops. I think as time goes on, they'll be more open to the public. These, since the seed library was new and the whole process was new, we pretty much just advertised within the CSM community. Next. And Maddie also wanted to let the chapter members know about upcoming pop-up events where she will bring select seeds from the library. They're going to join us at Nature Fest on Saturday, May 31st at the College of Southern Maryland. And they're also going to participate in the town of Blue to paint the town with pollinators in June. So I want to thank Maddie for those updates, even though she couldn't be here tonight. Next. And we want to remind all of our members, if you get recognized in local media, please let us know, because we'd like to share that information with the Wild Ones National Office so they can give a shout out to our members through their channels. And this College of Southern Maryland did have an article in the Southern Maryland News-Net, which we shared with Wild Ones National. Maddie was very proud of that article. If someone could put that link in, that's great. And next slide, please. And now we'll let Amy, I think Amy's on. Amy, if you'd like to tell the chapter what you've been doing down at the Leonardtown Park in Leonardtown.
Alrighty, hi, thank you. Um, we got permission to install native plants at this little park. It's called a parkette. And on the left side, um, especially the one that shows the shrubs and the second one from the middle one on the bottom, that's what it looked like when we first approached the town administrator about making changes. They had Liriope, I think Spirea, and Nandina. And it just was really uninspiring. And so she was open to our installing native plants, and it was a great project. Marlene helped out. We got Butterfly Alley, as I see have in that bottom right corner where it says partners. That's the native plant shop that's open in April and October. Carrie Creer runs that, and she actually hired a landscape designer to come down and create a plan for us. And she also procured the plants and helped us install them. So um, it was a good effort with a lot of different people helping to put the plants in place. The town landscapers are old fashioned and they love the old non-natives. They were very sad that they had to pull all that liriope out and they actually planted it in a different place somewhere in town. But anyway, um, yeah, so the town already had started this little effort that they called a butterfly trail, and it was really more of a little marketing thing to get people to come and visit and to be outside and looking at visiting different shops and places around town. And now with the native plants, we're hoping to bring in real butterflies. So hopefully that'll work. So that shows you now. The small pictures are the before pictures, and then the after pictures are the bigger ones. Um, and under the two big trees, those we have sedges and woodland asters and Pachyra aurea, the golden ragwort, and those all look really good. The Pachyra is starting to bloom, so that's always exciting this time of year when everything looks so drab. But and the rest of the beds, I think those will start to perk up here pretty soon. I follow the plan that a guest speaker on one of these presentations gave a few months ago, where he talked about becoming a land steward.
Mhm.
So I volunteered to be the land steward, and I go into town every so often and check on it. And at the beginning, I watered and um, just tried to make sure that the plants had half a chance at the end of that drought in the summer and fall. And then when I'm in town, I'll go over and pick up the cigarette butts and clean up whatever trash is lying around. Um, so yeah, I don't know if is there one more slide? I can't remember. Oh, and we did. We won an award. Um, Becky Wolf is another member of our team that helped with this project. She and I are part of the St. Mary's County Garden Club, and she encouraged me to do an application for this. As you can see, the Federated Garden Clubs of Maryland Landscape Design Award for a garden at a public site. And so I did a narrative. Thank you. Yeah. Wrote a narrative and submitted the application. And so we won, as you can see, we won first place, and $150 went to the garden club. And I believe I haven't nailed this down, but I think that we'll be able to use that money, I hope, to improve the gardens some more. The next thing is to get some little signs like the ones that they have in Prince George's County at the Audubon Society has some gardens that they've designed these really beautiful small signs. Um, and then the really next big thing, Marlene is, oh, there's Jesselyn. Hi, Jesselyn. Thanks for your support. Um, yeah, so first, May 2nd, Leonardtown does what they call a First Friday, where the shops and restaurants stay open late. and people come and stroll around and enjoy being outdoors and seeing their neighbors. So we're going to have a table. I say we, Marlene, I'm going to be out of town, but an information table and encouraging people to plant natives. Um, and then I'm still learning how to do this, but, or, recruiting or engaging uh, neighbors, for people who live along this corridor between our library and the waterfront in Leonardtown, and businesses, banks, schools. We have three elementary schools, um, to start putting native plants into their landscapes. Um, it just puzzles me. There's so much psychology to this. It seems like it's not so much the plants that we have to work with as it is the people. We've got to change people's minds about what's really beautiful and what really are good plants. That not all plants are created equal, at least in the native plant world. So little by little, people are learning and getting the idea. Um, that's kind of all I have. Do you have anything you want to add, Marlene? You've been here alongside me the whole time.
No, I think you're doing a wonderful job, Amy.
Thanks. I'm still, like I said, I'm still learning. Some of the other things we want to do is have some potted plants around town where outside the businesses. And I'm trying to figure out how to move that forward so that there are butterfly or insect friendly plantings even in the pots. And so little by little, we're bringing it along.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
Next slide. Next up, we were at the James A. Forestry and Technology Center this last week doing the Building Habitat for Native Bee programs, and I'm going to let Esther Bonnie speak to that program. Esther? Thanks for
Hello,
joining
can you
us.
hear me? Perfect,
You're
perfect.
good.
Okay. Like Miss Marlene said, I am Esther. I am a Wild Ones Chesapeake Bay member. I'm also the founder and director of Nurture Natives. You might have heard of it. It is a youth-led nonprofit with the mission of empowering youth and improving mental health through native biodiversity restoration efforts. One of the core missions of Wild Ones Chesapeake Bay is empowering young people in conservation, and specifically in conservation that will promote native biodiversity. Personally, our president, Miss Marlene, has been an incredible mentor to me since we met in 2022 at a University of Maryland Extension 4-H project focused on pollinators. I was a freshman when we met, and now I am a senior in high school. Since then, we've partnered on a number of initiatives driven by our shared passion for native plants and biodiversity, as well as youth empowerment. And today I'm excited to share one of our latest collaborations. Just like last week on March 20th, Wild Ones Chesapeake Bay and Nurture Natives co-hosted the inaugural Building Habitat for Native Bee program at the James A. Forrest Career and Technology Center. This event was made possible through a partnership with Crown Bees and National Wild Ones, which provided free Build a Bee House workshop kits for educational use. The program supported native pollinators while also helping Forest Tech students prepare for their annual Skills USA competition. If you're not familiar, Skills USA is a national organization that helps career technical students develop real world skills through community service projects. So this initiative, of course, was a perfect fit. A total of 39 students from the natural resources management, auto body, electrical, and information technology programs took part in the program. They built 18 bee houses that will soon be installed in at least 9 native gardens across our region. These bee houses will provide much needed habitat for our native pollinators. Before assembling the bee houses, the day of the program, Ms. Marlene and I taught a presentation to the students. They learned about the importance of pollinators and the role they play in our ecosystems and food production. And we discussed the differences between honeybees and native solitary bees and emphasized how solitary bees like mason bees are actually far more efficient pollinators, even though they weren't as familiar to most of the students in comparison to like honeybees. Beyond the environmental impact, this initiative also aligned perfectly with the goals of Skills USA, reinforcing teamwork, problem solving, and leadership among the students. And as someone who has worked to found Nurture Natives, found a nonprofit as a teenager, I've seen firsthand how hands-on conservation work builds confidence and leadership skills. And I was so excited to be a part of this as a Wild Ones Chesapeake Bay member and as the director of Nurture Natives. And through this program, we're helping the next generation to take action for their communities and their environment. And we talked about at the end of the presentation about youth-led action and the importance of youth-led conservation, specifically in the field of native biodiversity. And I'd like to give a special thank you to Wild Ones, and I'm so happy Sarah's here with us from National Wild Ones. That's very cool. But a huge thank you to National Wild Ones, Crown Bees, for making this program possible, and as well as the U.S. Forest Service and Monarch joint venture for supporting Wild Ones youth-based initiatives. And that is about it. I am very excited to see these bee houses installed. I'll work with Miss Marlene, and we'll follow the students as they do this and help document for their Skills USA project, and as they install these throughout Southern Maryland. And we will continue to engage young people in Wild Ones work and in youth-led conservation.
Thank you, Esther. Esther has been a huge inspiration to me, working with her these past few years. And Amy, I think I may have neglected to reach out to you. We would love to know if we could put a bee house in the parquet.
I don't see why not.
Okay.
I will admit that as I was walking around town with Becky to look at the plant pots, oh, those are adorable. Are those the bee houses?
Mm-hmm.
I realized that a lot of the plant pots and containers are around seating areas where people eat outdoors at the restaurants. And I thought, oh no, what if we attract bees? Are people going to freak out because there's a bee buzzing near them when they're eating their dinner? So I still don't see why we can't put a bee house in there. Easier to get forgiveness than permission, probably, but
Yeah.
also, I have you heard the saying that keeping honeybees to save the insects is like keeping chickens to save the birds.
I haven't heard that one.
So,
Good analogy, though.
yeah.
And Esther,
But
I don't know if you're watching the chat, but Lynn has requested a bee house for the Bird City Pocket Park.
Wonderful. Yeah, we have some extras. We can
And
do
if
that.
anyone else knows of any gardens, let us know. I'm hoping to reach out to Maddie and see if she would like to do a bee program at the College of Southern Maryland for some of the students there. They have pollinator gardens at all 3 of their campuses. So I think they would be a good choice for one of our bee programs in some of the bee houses. All right, next, Bill. Also, since our last meeting, we had a field trip on winter ID with Karen Molinas of the Maryland Native Plant Society, which was well attended. That was at Kings Landing Park. Next, Bill. We also have co-hosted 2 virtual programs with Wild Ones Greater Baltimore, planning native garden projects in your community. And that is the same program that Jimmy gave to us last fall that inspired Amy to be the steward for the Pocket Park. So if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend you take the opportunity to watch that program. And then also Designing Home Gardens with Native Plants, which was given by Anna Lee. And unfortunately, I can't remember her. Perfectly Imperfect Gardens is her Facebook page and her company, I believe.
those QR codes are really handy. I just used one and it took me right to the YouTube recording of
Great.
that presentation.
Oh, thanks. And if people have feedback on how we run the slides and the meeting, please let us know. especially when we get to the end and we do a post-event review. It helps us to improve our programs. We're also trying to put the links in the chat. Some people may not be as comfortable scanning or maybe watching on their phone and can't scan at the same time. So we're trying to meet everybody where we can to get the information out there.
You're doing a great job.
Thanks. Next bill. Let's see, this is our All the Dirt on Winter Sewing that we did at the Lexington Park Library. That was one of our most well-attended winter sewing workshops to date. I've been doing these, I believe it's been 3 to 4 years now, and this is one of our largest ones. So next bill. And I believe Jesselyn's on, and if Jesselyn would like to talk a little bit about her in-person program that she did for us at the Leonardtown Library earlier this month. Take it away, Jesselyn.
Hey everybody. I hope everybody's enjoying their evening. And I just want to say every time I come on to one of these meetings or anything with Wild Ones, it always just makes my heart so happy to see all this native plant advocacy and good earth stewardship. I just thank you all for doing your part, and it's exciting, and let's move forward with it. I was excited and honored to be able to host and have a presentation at the Leonardtown Library for Let's Design a Native Garden, which we basically just went over and discussed the basic beginnings of designing a native garden. A lot of people feel a lot of overwhelm and uncertainties when it comes to creating something like this, just not being able to see it or visualize it, or maybe like having different bumps in the road that kind of blocks them from wanting to start one. So I really wanted to take the overwhelm and the stress out of it and give people an empowerment to, feel confident after leaving there to kind of move forward with starting one, starting small, and going forward with it. So we went over all the things that included what might be stopping you and how to move forward with it or make it a part of how you're going through it. And, choosing the soil situations, the sun and shade, and even having some extra native plants ideas at the end of it. And I think you should be able to access this. Yeah, this is just where it kind of, you go over the topics covered. And of course you can see location, even down to like things of like what creatures are eating it and how to maybe kind of cope with that versus trying to fight it all the time. Plans to incorporate in the space again, bumps in the road, which might be like somebody who has, as in like barriers or health disabilities or things that just kind of push you, even like, just family involvement or lack of. And always, again, remembering to start small. Big gardens mean big overwhelm, but starting in small places with containers or pocket gardens, even like the one over in Leonardtown, like even a smaller little pocket garden, and things to just kind of help people move forward with that. And I don't know if we had another slide with this as well. Oh yeah. And then, talking about the pest and the things that eat it and things to keep in mind, avoiding using netting or chemicals and what is a pest and what isn't a pest kind of thing. And even with being a little bit protective of some plants at some point to make sure they get fully established. And I think that everybody who came to the workshop really took some things away with it and felt a little bit more confident to go ahead and begin a new one or start one somewhere else where they were more able to. And I thought it was a great thing. And I hope to be able to spread this knowledge and advocacy more to more people. People were requesting like another kind of presentation that got more in depth with actually drawing out the space and what plants to incorporate it and how they could make it more natural or more formal. So I'm hoping to do another presentation for that as well. But yeah, thank you guys for having me be a part of that and be able to share that with people. It was awesome.
And Jesselyn, if you wouldn't mind putting your contact information in the chat. I just realized that contact information is a little bit hard to read, and I did.
It is a little hard to read.
Yeah,
and
I did an effect on the slide, and it made it a little bit harder to read. So if you want to put your contact information, I think folks would appreciate that.
Of course. And also, if anybody wants access to this presentation, did we put it on the Wild Ones website or?
I haven't yet.
It's on the chat right now.
It's in the chat right now. I was hoping anyone with the link could.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to spread that knowledge. Like I don't want to gatekeep anything. I just want people to have at it.
All right. Thanks, Jesselyn.
Thank you guys so much.
Next, Bill. And then this was a couple of our partnerships with the libraries in St. Mary's. We partnered with the Friends of St. Clement's Day on their pruning workshop in February, and then in March at the Lexington Park Library, they had a gardening orientation, Gardening 101, that we supported. Next, Bill. And Bonaterra is ramping up their volunteer days for the season. On March 1st, Esther and I participated in their seedling giveaway workshop. In our first year of doing seedling giveaways, we did 7 for them. And they want to get more community groups involved, so they had a workshop and we were there to answer questions. And I know of at least one seedling giveaway that has already been planned. Jimmy Rogers is doing one up in Laurel. So I think that's great. And then I believe Bonaterra is hosting volunteer days every other weekend on Saturdays and Sundays. There is a volunteer form if you'd like to go over to their nursery in Indian Head and help them with any of their gardening tasks. And I realized I didn't get that link, so I will do that at some point, grab that link for you guys for anyone who might be interested in volunteering at Bonaterra. Next. And with that, we're going to turn the presentation over to Sara, who's going to give us some Wild Ones national updates.
Hello, thank you. Let me get sorted here. Perfect. Okay, cool. So yeah, hi everybody again, and thank you so much to Marlene and the rest of the leadership here for extending this invitation to speak to you all. I'm really excited to learn more about what your chapter does, and I'm really like somebody else said, like just very inspiring, and it feels really good, like Jessalyn said, to hear all of this, you know, advocacy and this work and this really impactful effort that you all are doing, and I can see from like my vantage point that it is really impactful, and so that's a little bit of what I'll share today. So I'm the education and program coordinator at the national office. And so you may remember me from such films as like our annual membership meeting, the awkward host to a number of our national webinars, things like that. And so I started my journey in 2023 with Wild Ones as a part-time job. So I'm located in Urbana, Illinois, which is about an hour away from our nearest chapter, which is the Illinois Prairie chapter in Bloomington, Illinois. So I really didn't know anything about Wild Ones when I started here, but the job description matched like my background. I have like degrees in zoology and education and experience in coordinating things. So I was like, how hard could it be? And then I got here. I am new to the native plant movement, and so like many of our members, I really have benefited from the knowledge of our community here. So I bought my house here in Illinois in 2020, and so I've been slowly converting my turf, and it's yeah, like Jessalyn said, I'm going to watch that webinar, right? It's about starting small and kind of growing from there. So I've only got a few beds, but yeah, like every day I'm sitting here like writing plant names down as people are talking. So it's exciting. So anyway, enough about me. Boring. Let's jump right into what we have going on. Assuming the click works. So all of the national staff like to start by grounding our discussions in the mission, vision, and core values of our organization. So these beliefs that Wild Ones shares stem from our respect for the diverse species of our planet and our concern for future generations, which is why I'm so glad Esther is here. Our mission, of course, as everyone here probably knows, is to promote native landscapes through education, advocacy, and collaborative action. And we do this through our grassroots movement. We share this simple message that a healthy planet starts with native plants. And our core values are respect for each other. We respect nature and we respect the earth. We are also an inclusive community, and we strive to provide evidence-based information. And we feel like together we learn best, we grow, and we can share our knowledge. So I'm certain that you see your own values reflected not just here with this slide, but also, of course, I can see it in the work that your chapter has been doing. Connecting your work and your chapter into the national kind of atmosphere here, Wild Ones has grown exponentially. Right now, we have 95 chapters and 36 seedlings or baby chapters across 36 states. And so we are taking over. We were, as many of you probably know, we were founded in the upper Midwest. And so we've just been expanding across the country as more people, I think, recognize how important native plants are to local ecosystems. So in 2020-ish, we had around 4,000 members. We had about 4,000 members for, I think, almost the last decade prior to 2020. And now Wild Ones has 12,292 members as of the start of this meeting today. So that's 5 years, and that is pretty quick, right? So we really do see this. Our vision, of course, is native plants and natural landscapes thriving in every community, and I think you can kind of start to see that, which is really exciting. So to that effect, right, we have been growing our chapters, our members, and so our national staff has grown. So that 2020 number, you can see there were basically 3 staff, and 2 of them were part-time. And so now, to accommodate the growth in chapters and the growth in membership, we are at, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. And not everybody is full-time, but that it's basically a lot of work to run the national parts of this organization. But I did want to connect you to the faces of the people behind the support at wildones.org email, because sometimes you don't get to see us, and so here we are kind of out in the wild. Most of the people you guys hear and know are probably David, our IT manager, and of course Lisa and Debbie, the chapter liaisons. So yeah, what do we do here at the national office? It's a lot of chapter support. That's probably 87% of the effort that national staff puts forth is trying to figure out and optimize how we can help chapters grow and succeed. We also, part of that is operations and administrative support. It's visibility and marketing. So when I talk about my national programs and the programs that we run at the national office, it's really about that engagement at the national level. My philosophy is that we are driving people to the native plant and natural landscaping movement here, and then basically we hand them off to the chapters for that support, that local connection, that knowledge sharing, that respect and inclusive community that we value so much. And so because of my role as the education program coordinator, I wanted to give you all a quick overview of some of the national programs and key updates that might be of interest to you. I'm really only going to go over a few of the many national programs. That graphic I just showed you could take me hours to dissect, but I think I didn't even count. I think I'm only talking about 3 things, but there's probably about 8 or 9 things on my plate here. But if you're interested in hearing more, here's a plug for a slide I didn't make. The annual membership meeting for Wild Ones is on April 10th, and so I will find and drop the link there. But we welcome everyone to come. That's a live Zoom just like this, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns more broadly, you're welcome to voice them during the Q&A, or just show up and learn more about the national goings on. So nice to meet you, Jesselyn, but the Native Garden Design Program is really important to me, so I'm keen to talk to you and probably more later. But this is what I view as one of our flagship national programs. It also started in 2020. And so this program is rooted in the belief that natural landscapes are aesthetically pleasing and ecologically impactful, and that anyone can get started with just a few tools. And so I put together a graphic that's not here that kind of is exactly, I'm hoping, what Jesselyn kind of presented, which is here are these common barriers, and I really am striving to make our program kind of address those barriers, and so that's really exciting. Yeah, we've been generously funded through a horticultural trust grant since 2020. They also do just a plug for them. They also do smaller grants for other gardens and botanical gardens and horticultural agencies. So feel free to take a look at that organization if you guys have bigger projects that you might be interested in funding. But yeah, that program has garnered a ton of attention from the national media this year. So we're really proud of the work that Margaret Roach put forth to write that article about the program and how it really does a nice job at kind of reducing barriers. And so I hope that I, of course, sort of changed this picture out to the more local to you design, but c'est la vie. Oh, let's see. Can I drop the links? Here you go. So this program has a lot of different tools. We also have a nursery list, which I'm in the process of oh, thank you, Marlene. You're awesome. A bunch of tools, including a nursery list, where I'm trying to update it really quickly this summer so we can start welcoming more nurseries into it and create like a very robust menu for national folks to take a look at, like what's a nursery in their state and their area that they can go find native plants at, because that is one of those barriers that we have. And then also like the Find My Ecoregion tool is another update that we added this year. It helps connect folks with the history and characteristics of their local region. So that's like another step, is that education. So you can then, buy the right plants for your space. So, and then you guys probably have seen those booklets, which we're trying to sell out. So I can make a new version of it, which is on the docket too for hopefully 26. The update here, I'm always looking to add new designs. So I have a goal of 50 designs, so one in every state by 2030. Because we have a ton of interest in designers participating in the program, but we are limited by me being able to organize, vet, and put them all up on the website. So to that effect, I'm going to add 3 more states this year, 4 more states, which is Richmond, Virginia, which is pretty close to a lot of, I think you guys will get a lot of use out of that design as well. We also are adding a San Diego design, an Albany, New York design, and a Lexington, Kentucky design this summer. Actually, I have almost all of those designs. I'm just trying to get them out for promotion and up on our website. So I'm excited to keep growing this program, and thank you all for doing such a great job in promoting it and to continuing the program and demonstrating to me how I can better help our chapters use this resource and connect to it through different ways. So this is great to hear. Part of that program also is our weed ordinance program. So many of you know that legal barriers are a major hurdle for native plant adoption. I know that in Maryland, we just kind of had some legislation passed to prevent some of that, but unfortunately that's not a national initiative yet. So Roseanne Plant, our wild lawyer, basically has put together a really tremendous program that identifies, we have a sample ordinance, we've got all these videos on how to fight the weed police. And all of her effort was like recognized this past year at the Washington Post. So she had a really cool like little biopic, and we followed that up in our journal with some more detail specifically about how Roseanne operates within the national office. And so there's exciting updates there. We've got, we're trying to expand into HOAs because that's another area where people could use some more guidance. And then Roseanne's doing kind of an update, and we're still working out the details of that, but it should come out later it is spring. Yeah, later this spring. Let's see. And we have a ton of wonderful webinars at the national office. So these are a few folks we hosted this past year, and then I'm busily trying to plan the 2025 fall webinars. And so you can expect Doug Talmy to be back in October. I will have Larry Weiner in November probably. And then I'm working on something for September that might involve another panel discussion, because I seem to like those. And we'll probably do some influencers. So I'm in contact with a couple of interesting folks that are really pushing the boundaries of the communication side of the native plant movement. And I'm excited to have more details to share, hopefully in a couple of months there. And then I always want to plug our annual photo contest. Somebody had like a nice comment about one of the photos before. All of the pretty photos that we receive and we can use nationally are garnered through this contest, right? So members can contribute photos that showcase the beauty and benefits of native plants, of course. And that is an end of summer tradition. And so starting July 1st through August 29th, we will open the 2025 annual photo contest. So here is a shameless plug. I should have put a QR code, right? This year's themes are, what are they? Living things, home landscapes, Wild Ones events. And then we do a seasonal one, and this year it is signs of spring. So now is the perfect time, or was a couple weeks ago, to start getting those wonderful ephemeral photos. But I would love more of those for my stuff. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. Here we go. National collaboration, boring. Local collaboration, cool. So yes, one exciting announcement here is that we've stolen Esther from you, right? We are excited to announce a new national partnership with Nurture Natives. And so this, of course, has grown from all of that local collaboration you all have been doing. And so together, Wild Ones and Nurture Natives will co-create educational resources. We're going to expand the reach of the outreach activities and events you are all doing. And we're going to work together to amplify those youth voices and youth leadership in conservation. So I'm excited to welcome Esther and this shared vision, and I'm excited to help, grow Nurture Natives into a national movement.
Sarah, thank you so much.
Of course. Sorry I went long.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. Well, I want to thank everybody this evening for your enthusiasm and for your contributions. We're here to help facilitate whatever we can out in the community. Excited about all the projects that we have going on out there and all the members who are showing interest. If you could please take the survey, let us know what you thought of this new format of our garden chat. I want to give special thanks to Sara from Wild Ones National for joining us this evening. Appreciate you being on and giving us our national updates, and all the others who presented their projects. We're here to celebrate everything that you guys are doing out in the community because you're doing a lot of great things. And that's all I have.
We are wildly appreciative of you, Marlene.
Kathy, you took that off of my playbook, didn't you?
I love that line.
I can't take credit for that. I think Lynn's signed off already, but that was Lynn's little tagline, and I loved it. I adopted it.
It's a good one.
And Kathy, anything we can do to, partner with the programs y'all are doing over there in Scientist Cliffs, we'd love to partner with you because we really owe this chapter to you guys over there.
Well,
I believe it was you and a few others who got the ball rolling over there, and we really appreciate all you did, and we just kind of stepped in to keep the ball rolling.
thank you. You have taken it and just done, more than we would have ever gotten done.
It's not
You
just
and Bill, the team.
It's not just me, it's the whole board. I think we made a good choice when we reached out to some people, and it's all the members of Wild Ones. Everybody's very I'm appreciative of everybody. Everybody has something unique to offer. A lot of great people. All righty, anybody else?
A good night.
Pleasure this evening, guys. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.